Hello everyone, welcome back to Quarter Flips. I'm Dave, and this is my first legit new video of 2022. In my last video, the one where I was walking in the snow, I said that I needed to come up with a new type of accounting system, a sheet that I could enter my information into every day that would give me the numbers just at my fingertips that took me so long to find for that video. Rather than having to go to PayPal and to Discogs and to eBay and to make this sheet at the end of the year, I would just have it. So I played around with that and I came up with one in Microsoft Excel that I think is going to work for me. And it has been working really great. I've kind of become addicted to putting the numbers in there. So now I need more sales because I need to put more numbers in. So I think it's a good sheet. And I thought, I don't know if anyone's going to care to see that kind of thing in one of these videos. But maybe you're a reseller who is thinking, how should I account for my stuff? Maybe you have a way of accounting, but this is another way you'd like to take a look at. Maybe like my friend, you're like, why don't you just use QuickBooks? And because I haven't used QuickBooks before is the answer. And I don't know, maybe you use QuickBooks, but this would be something that would give you more information at your fingertips. Or I don't know, maybe you just would like to watch it to criticize what I do and say you could do it better doing it this way. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. So what I will do is I will put that up here. We'll move into that. We'll take a look at how I built the sheet. I figured I'd start with a blank sheet and show how I used different Excel features that I know to build this kind of basic and also kind of complicated accounting sheet that I'm using every day now. And then after that, we'll do a what sold, and I'll show what has sold in the last little while. So we'll come back. So if you're not interested in this Excel thing, this accounting part of it, just jump ahead a few minutes and you'll get to the selling stuff. So yeah, and then I'll be back with a whole nother kind of video in the next few days. So this isn't going to become a how to do Excel channel because I don't know enough about Excel to do a channel like that. Okay, so before we jump into this, I was talking to a friend of mine about doing this sheet, and he said, oh, are you using such and such and such Excel features? And I realized from him saying that I haven't learned how to do anything new in Excel for like 20 years. And I said to him, no, I'm using the same stuff that you and I learned in the one-day Excel class we took at work in the year 2000 or whatever year it was. I think it was 2000, 2001. He said, oh, yeah, there's probably way better ways to do the stuff you're doing, which could be true. And so I invite you, as you're watching me put this sheet together, if you know a better way to do it, leave a comment and let me know or tell me where to go find it. And likewise, if you don't understand why I'm doing something, leave a comment. I'll try to explain it as I go, but I could absolutely forget exactly what it is I'm doing while I'm setting this up, and I could just make assumptions that you know. And I know not everybody uses Excel, so yeah. Anyway, chime in, let's talk about it. But before we can do that, let's go actually make the sheet. We'll go do that now. Okay, to get started with this sheet, we're just going to open up Microsoft Excel and just get a blank worksheet. Nothing in it, just no presets, just ready to go, blank worksheet. And I'm going to name the sheet Daily Transaction Log. And the first thing I'm going to do with just this basic sheet, see, I've got alphabetical designations on these columns and I've got numerical designations on these rows. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to count down to the fourth space, A4. I'm going to freeze that pane. The way you do that is you go up to Window, you get a pull-down menu. It's off the recording screen here, but it's the Window pull-down. And I'm going to go to Freeze Panes. Now, what that does is, now when I scroll, you see rows 1, 2, and 3 stay, and the other rows move up. This is going to become important later. Then what I tend to do is just click here, make that a bit smaller. Yeah. Okay, so time to figure out what all of these different parts of the sheet are going to be. So right up here, the first thing I'm going to need is a place to just mark what date it is. So in 2A, I'm going to put date. And then I'm going to go up here, I'm going to highlight A, and I'm going to make all of those centered because that's how I want it centered. I just happen to know that I'm going to want all of these centered also. 1 and 2 all the way across. So we'll center all those. So the first column is date. It doesn't need to be that wide. Space is going to be an issue on this sheet, so I'm going to move it over here like this. And next to it, I'm going to write item. This is the item that is sold on the date. And let's move that out. Give myself enough space to write in a small description of the item that is sold. Let's finish out the top here. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to have designations for the different kinds of things that I sell along the top. eBay items and Discog items. So my different categories are, let me see, DVD, and this year I'm going to do Blu-ray in the same category. DVD lots, VHS lots. I do want to know when I sell an individual VHS versus a lot of them. Miniatures, we'll call those minis. Books, we'll just say music, just a general music category. And I'm not going to keep track of anything else individually out of eBay this year, so I'm just going to say all else. Anything else I sell. So these are my eBay categories. I'll just copy that off. And then let's see. We'll get into Discogs. I sell 7-inch vinyl on Discogs. I sell 12-inch vinyl on Discogs. And this year I'm going to include 10 inches and other large records in that space. CDs. And then anything else. Any random thing on Discogs. So I've got 4 Discogs categories. And then, you know, every once in a while, I sell some stuff online from one of my websites, or someone contacts me and wants to buy a copy of my DVD of my movie or something that isn't, you know, something that's online but outside eBay and Discogs. So I should have a column for that. And honestly, I should have one more column for anything that isn't online. Let's just call that real life. I mean, if a garage sale or Craigslist sale direct to somebody, we'll put it there. All right, so here's my categories. Now, I know from experience that I'm going to need a lot of space to the right of this that I don't want to have to scroll to get to. So I'm going to go ahead and make these columns just as thin as I can get them while still retaining the information at the top. Get myself some space. And as I go through the process here, you'll probably see me making adjustments to make stuff fit as I go. But that's pretty much a good setup. So what's going to happen is when I sell something on January 1st of this year, let's say it was an LP from my buddy's band Change. Okay, so I would move that over to, let's say I sold it on Discogs, I put it here, let's say I sold it for $19.99. So that's not enough. I need a way for this to keep track. In fact, I need each of these columns to keep track of what I'm doing here. Let's do that. Let's create a situation where this will calculate everything that we need, everything that we enter in. I'll go here, start in this one. Now you see this little sideways M looking thing? This will display the sum of selected cells at the end of selection. So if I click that, it's going to put equals sum, open parentheses, close parentheses. And you see the cursor is inside those. So then I go down to 5C, right below that, click and drag. I go all the way down to the bottom of the page, second to last, whichever one's easiest to get to, so that it doesn't advance the page up. It's just there. And I hit the tab button. Okay, now I just have a 0 there. But if I go all the way down here and I put in a 5, it's a 5. And if I put in a 5 here at the change LP spot, it adds it up and makes it 10. Erase those out. Now that I have that, I have selected those cells all the way down. I'm going to copy that one and I'm going to paste it into every spot. And now you see what happened. They're all just sitting to 0 except for the place where we had this change LP on 1/1/21 for $19.99. Now, I'm going to change something about this right now. I'm going to move the change LP designation down to the spot that was the far end of where we made those calculations go. Now, you see what happens when I copy that and paste it there. We see that if it was in twice, $19.99 and $19.99, it goes up to $39.98. So we know this works. But we're going to take this out. Take that out. Take that out. Okay. Now, if I put a number right there, it does not put that number into the total. The totaling starts on this line 36. So we'll just erase that one out because we're going to need those spaces later. Now, this is important. If I sell another item on the 1st of January, By the way, why did I make this 21? Hey, it's 22. It's like I'm writing bad checks like I do at the beginning of every year with the wrong year on them. Okay, if I sell another item, let's say I sell a drive DVD, movie drive. All right, I would put this here. Let's say I sell that one for, it's not a very expensive one, unfortunately, $6.99. DVD shows $6.99. You're probably saying, but wait, you're going to run out of space. You're only going to get a little ways up before you don't have any more space. This is very, very important. You do it this way. You start at the bottom and you move up. Because when you do run out of space, what you're going to do is, and let's just for fun, let's copy these over and say, okay, there was that, and then, sure, it's the same thing over and over again, but maybe I had a lot of them. We see the adding up is working, but now I'm out of space. So what I would do when I needed more space is I would, over here on the number side, the number column, would highlight and drag while holding and highlight a bunch of rows across. Then I go up to Insert, which is in the toolbar at the top that you can't see, but there's a pull-down menu. It says Insert Cells or Insert Rows or Insert Columns. I would hit Insert Rows, and you see it gives me more rows. And then again, Insert Rows. And what this does, importantly, is it gives me more space where the calculation is still going to work. If I add a 1 here, the number goes up. If I add a 1 here, the number goes up. But if I scroll down now and see, you scroll, this is why we did that freeze pane, because now I can see the numbers at each different date, and also I can see what they go to at the top. But still, if I go all the way down to the bottom and I put a 1 there, it doesn't add. Yet, if I put the 1 here, it does add. When you enter cells or rows here, it makes this calculation automatically adjust to take those into account because you've added them within the range that you selected. So it's going to hold everything. I'll go the whole year and I will still get a good calculation and everything will be fine. Hopefully that is not too confusing, but let's move on. I've got my Blu-rays. I've got my 12-inch records selling here. So what do I want to do with these numbers once I have them? Like, what good is having these numbers? Well, the first thing I'm going to need to do is get myself a subtotal. So we'll call it sub right there. I need a place where whatever I enter in any of these cells is going to end up in this line. So the way I do that is, once again, I go to that tool up there, click it, and then it's going to give you an automatic, it'll reach out to the number it sees. Just ignore that. Click here because I want every one of these different places where I'm going to possibly be entering a number. I want every one of them in the line to be there. And drag it all the way to the first one. So I'm getting C through P, means no matter where in this line I entered a number, it would end up in the subtotal line. And once I've got the space that I want totaled, or I want numbers to be taken from, I hit the tab key again. All right, now 1999 is there. Just so you see that it works, if I put 1999 here, it would bump that up to 39.98. We're not going to do that. We're not going to have, most likely, the way I'm doing it anyway, because it makes sense for my records, I'm not going to have things split up within one sale. If I sell multiple things to one person, I'll probably give them each their own line, and that'll maybe be clear later. Maybe it won't, I don't know. But importantly, now that I have that, I'm going to once again copy it, move up, paste it. Okay, now I've pasted the calculation there, and it's grabbing this drive DVD number. All right, once again, paste, paste. I didn't put anything here, so I'm going to skip that one, but I'm paste here, paste here, paste here, paste here. Same thing all the way up. Once you have it, you don't have to do the work every time. You can just copy and paste. And then also, when I finally get to a place where there is no number, it'll just come in as a 0. So I'll put a bunch more of these in. Now I have a subtotal line. Let's make it a little bit smaller. That'll handle a number up to about 1,000, about to 4 digits plus change. So the first thing I'm going to have to deal with, taking out of this number potentially, will be shipping. So let's call this column shipping. I don't need to do any calculation there. And in this column, let's call that fees. And then this column, we'll call it sub 2. Subtotal 2. All right. Now, how will these actually work? Change LP sold on Discogs. When I sell something on Discogs, I charge shipping on top. So I would put 0 in the shipping. When I sell a DVD, I almost always call it shipping included. And I know shipping a DVD, media mail, is $3.19. So I'll put in $3.19 there. Fees. At this point, this space is where you would just enter the fees for Discogs or eBay. For eBay, I actually just look on the transactions page in my eBay. It shows me I'm on managed payments, so all of the fees that I'm going to pay will be in one place. For a $6.99 DVD, they come out usually to around like $1.20 or something, $1.18. I think maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe it's even like 95 cents, but it doesn't matter. For this example, I just need to put it in a number. We're going to call it $1.19. For Discogs, I'm going to create a calculation to figure out that number of fees. Basically, I know that between Discogs and PayPal, I end up paying 11%, and then PayPal takes an additional 30 cents. So the way I would create a calculation here for Discogs is I would go equal sum, open parentheses, and then I'm going to select my subtotal number, and I'm going to go times, asterisk is times 0.11. That's the 11% that I will be paying between my Discogs fees and my PayPal fee. It's not exact, but it's close enough for what I'm doing here. Plus 30 cents. Close parentheses, tab. Now I have a accurate, and I've checked this, pretty accurate calculation for how much of my $19.99 is going to go to fees. So for subtotal, I'm going to have to create my own calculation again. So I'm going to say equal sum that minus that minus that. Close parentheses. So what I have now is a section that shows $19.99 minus basically $2.49 comes out to basically $17.49. Excellent. That's working. If I copy that and I move it up, yes, we see $6.99 minus the shipping minus the fee leaves $2.61. So why did I make this sub 2? Well, for me, I need a little more information at this point. And the reason is I sometimes sell things for other people. And sometimes when I sell things for other people, we do a 50-50 deal. In fact, I, at this point, will only do 50-50 sales deals with people. If they're going to have me do it, and it's going to take my time, it's got to be a 50-50 deal. So I need a way to figure out whether I'm keeping all the money or whether I'm keeping 50% of the money for this calculation. So I'm going to write here, I'm going to write my cut. And we're not going to do quite anything with that yet. I'm just going to move it like that, make it small. And now I have this spot right here. This is going to be what I'm going to call actual. The number I'm going to get here is going to be my actual number. Sold the record for $19.99. Paid out the shipping, paid out the fees, figured out what my cut was, and this is the actual amount of money I'm keeping. So in order to do that, I need to go equal sum, my subtotal number, times whatever is in that cell. Close parentheses, tab. So if I am selling my own change LP, I would enter a 1 there. And it would show the $17.49. But if I was selling that change LP for a friend, if they wanted me to sell their copy of the change LP for them, and they wanted 50% of the money for that deal, they would get 50% of the money after fees and after anything that came out of it. So what I would then do is put 0.5 here, and it would immediately calculate it for me. Excellent. So now what I'm going to do is right here under actual, I'm going to create another one of those calculating columns all the way down from the first cell to that last cell. Now, if I copy that, it just goes in as zeros. But once again, I'll copy it all the way up. And while we're at it, we need to copy the subtotal one too. Okay, so we decided that I was paying 50% of the change LP, but I'm keeping all of this drive LP. So I put in a 1 and it moves my 261 over to there. And then let's say after this change LP sold, the next one I sold was mine. So I put a 1 in there. I keep all the money, and we see my actual total keeps changing. And what will happen now, once I have these things in place, is that every time I enter these numbers in here, for this change LP, the second one, I still need to put my Discogs calculation in there, so I'll add that. Each time I add something, I will get this number up here, which will be the actual amount of money. I'm calling this actual. I mean that this is what I make after shipping and fees from the service that I use to sell it, and what I make after I pay out someone if I'm selling it for them. This does not take into account stuff that I bought at, say, like a thrift store. I'm not removing the original price here. I don't have a calculation to do that. That'll just have to be me, myself, comparing my money spent on purchases versus my actual total at the end of the year. And that's not something I was trying to get out of this sheet. So for now, let's not worry about it. Okay, these were just examples that I put in to show you how this would work. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this out down to here, just so we can keep working. See, I moved it all the way up here now, so let's enter some more cells in, or some more rows. Fill that space back up. Now, what else would I like to know? Well, honestly, I'd like to know my average sale price for these items. For each of these items, I'd like to be able to just at a glance know an average sale price. How could I do that with this sheet that I have as it is now? Here's what I came up with. Maybe there's a better way to do it, but this is what I came up with. Couple rows below, I wrote the word quantity, and then I went ahead and moved it over like that. And then I had to personally go take a look at how you calculate a quantity of cells that had information in a column. And I did find it, and it's quite easy. So what we need to do is we need to go all the way down. You want to do this when you've still got the space. I want to go all the way down so I can get all the way up to the top cell here from where I'm going to be entering this information. And I want to type in equal count, open parentheses, and this is where we go. We go to our first open cell. And remember, this is the first one where the calculation here, I hope this makes sense. I don't know if I'm going to be able to say it right, but we want to start the count in the first available cell where a number could have gone that would have been added into the number at the top. So that means even if there's not something entered here, we start the count here, click, and drag all the way up to the top one that could have the number. We don't want to go beyond it, we just want to go to there. And then tab out. Okay, so now what this is telling me is there is one quantity of all those cells, only one of those cells has any information in it. Now I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to move it across. 0, 0, 0. That all makes sense. And then we get here and it says 2 because this works. We go all the way across to every single one that would have entries or that may have entries across the course of this next year. So now we need to create a calculation that will tell us the average sale price for each of these sections. So I wrote average sale. Moved it over there. And the way I figured that was equal sum, open parentheses. I want the number that's in this cell to be divided, which is the slash. It's a slash that's underneath the question mark on a keyboard. That's divided by this cell because this cell tells the quantity. And then close parentheses. All right, my average sale there is $6.99. That seems to be true. Copy that, move it here. All right, I'm just getting this number div divided by 0 thing. All right, that basically tells you that something is messed up about your calculation, your command that you've put in there. But in this case, I'm going to tell you to ignore it and just keep copying, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay. So calculation was fine when it hit the change LP prices. And yeah, there's two $19.99. It's saying $19.99 is the normal price. Well, let's say, just for the sake of argument, that on 1/2/22, I sold a trial LP. So that's an LP. And let's say I sold that thing for $79.99 because it was a good, rare colored vinyl version of that LP. Now we see that it's changed my average sale. Now with those two 1999s and the 79.99, my average sale in 12 inches on Discogs is $39.99. And I'd go over here, of course, and I'd enter my 0, and I'd grab my Discogs calculation, and I'm going to say I'm going to keep that money for myself, so I'll enter 1, and everything works. All of these things still work. Now my actual total after fees is almost $100. Now let's say on that same day, I sell we'll just call this one rare, a rare DVD. And let's say that DVD goes for $29.99. Of course, I enter it in the DVD column. And there we go. Now my average DVD sale is $18.49 because I've sold one at $6.99 and one at $29.99. All right, go over here, $3.19 to ship it. For argument's sake, let's say it was $3.40 was the fee. And yeah, let's say I sold that for somebody. Okay, I kept $11.70. And then as we sell other things, again, on this day, let's say I sold a DVD lot, 5 DVDs. Well, I would put that here. Let's say it was $19.99. So now I've got a count, so now my calculation is working. Say this one's going to cost, let's say these are heavy, so this is going to cost $3.89 to send. And let's say I'm going to get stuck like $2.54 on fees, and then yeah, it's all mine. So I think this should all be clear. As I go through the year, each day when I enter these numbers, I'm going to know where my items sold, what my average is, how many I've sold, what my actual total I'm coming home with is. But I wanted to add a little more functionality to this. I wanted to get an actual average sale price across everything that I had sold. So here's how I figured I would do that. In this cell right here, I typed in total quantity sold. Then I right justified it so it left this space open. And here I created another calculation, but not count. It has to be sum. This needs to add up the numbers. It needs to add up the numbers of the count. So I use equal sum, select all of these cells, close parentheses, and I get a number, 6. Okay, that adds up. We agree that's right. 2, 1, and 3. And here I'm going to type in total average, the average across all my sales. So the way I would get that is I would create a calculation right here that says equal sum, this number, my actual number, divided by quantity sold, this cell. Close parentheses, hit tab. There we go. By my calculation here, my average sale is $20.83. So if I were to sell another cheap DVD later in the day, say it went for $7.99, we already see the average jump down. All right. So by putting in one $7.99 DVD, my total average sale went from $20 to $18.34. Hopefully this all makes sense. But this is what my sheet looks like right now. Each day I enter in my new numbers, do the calculations here. When I run out of space, I copy some more cells, insert rows like that. That keeps all the calculations working because they all are taking into account the spaces between the top and the bottom. So if I enter in new rows here, that's fine. It doesn't mess with any of my calculations. And when I need these different calculations that I made, I just copy those lines like that. I select the cells, I copy them, and I paste them. And I just do that all the way up as much as I need them. And they'll keep working. If you wanted to make something like this, I'd love to hear about how it works for you. If you think that you have some suggestions that would make this better, definitely let me know. And all right, now let's get back to the video. So there it is. That's the sheet I'm using now. I'm very excited to put more numbers in that. Mainly, I'm just excited to know what my average DVD gross sale is. That is a very helpful number for me to know. If I see it coming down, I'll know it's going the wrong way. If I see it going up, if I see that average going up, I'll know that I'm doing things right. And I guess, that extends to just the general per item sale. The combined one, that should go up too. I think right now, as I'm making this, I'm like somewhere around $7.70, which is once you take shipping out and once you take fees from either eBay or Discogs out. And if I have to pay out anybody, they're part of a sale because I'm making a deal with them, like a 50-50 sales deal. Right now, I think I'm somewhere around an average of like $7.70 per sale. So everything I package up, almost $8. Gotta get that higher, right? It's gotta go higher. All right, let's take a look at some sales. Of course, as I've been going the last little while, I've been laying stuff out here on this table and filming it before I pack it up. But I sold some stuff that I'm just going to be packing up today and shipping tomorrow. So I figured I'd pick those things up and just show them right here in front of the camera. Sold another Excursion Backstock CD set. These are brand new CDs that my record label Excursion sold back in the day. And every once in a while someone buys one of these from me. These go for $6.99 plus shipping. I don't have one of the CDs right now. I looked all around the house. I literally have none here. So I've got to go to my storage unit and grab one of those to be able to fill this order. But real quick, it's a Botch CD, Unifying Themes Redux, To See You Broken, A Thief, a Poet, an Enemy, The Answer, You Had Your Chance, and Harbor Island Mutiny, With Us or Against Us. And then the other one was Left with Nothing, Good Things Come to Those Who Wait. So $6.99 plus shipping. 2 more pieces of e.l.f. clearance makeup. Bought these for 99 cents a piece. Sold these 2 together for $5.99 plus shipping. Not so bad. This is one of the last sales. I opened up the makeup box and there's maybe 1 or 2 things still lying in the bottom of that. So we shouldn't be seeing too much more of this unless I come into some kind of great makeup deal soon. And of course, DVDs. Total Recall 2070 Machine Dreams, $7.99. The Hudsucker Proxy, $9.99. The Tom Green Show, Endangered Feces, $9.99. I thought that would go for more. Streets of Laredo, $10.99. Basic Box Making with Doug Stowe, $14.99. PBS Home Video Through Deaf Eyes, $16.99. And Peter Jackson's Bad Taste, special edition with a lenticular cover and 2 discs. This went for $19.99. Sold this sealed puzzle. I'm going to move it so you can see it with the glare because I know it's got the sealed plastic on it. This is a Springbok by Hallmark 500-piece puzzle. I got this at a half-off day at a St. Vincent de Paul's thrift shop. I think the first one I went to on camera. Sat for a long time. I sold it for $10.99 plus shipping. And on that same day, at the St. Vincent de Paul half-off days, I was all excited because I got these Moen toilet paper holders, real cheap. I think these were $3.99 each, and I just sold them for a combined total of $25.98 plus shipping. So they sat for months and months, but then they sold and brought me in a pretty decent profit. And that's it for the stuff I'll be packing up today. Let's look over here and see the stuff that I've already shipped. Over on Discogs, Space Capades, Atomic Age Oddities, and Hi-Fi Hijinks compilation CD. This one went for $4.99 plus shipping. Bread and Circuits CD on Ebullition. That went for $6.99. These 2 sold together. Garth Brooks Double Live and The Ultimate Yes 35th Anniversary Collection. Sure, that makes sense. Why not? $6.99 each plus shipping. Jawbreaker, etc. CD. I would say Jawbreaker is a top 3 band of my entire life. If you know, you know. And if you don't, I don't know if a person could still catch what it is that makes Jawbreaker special in this day and age if you didn't know about them yet. I don't know. Anyway, that CD went for $14.99 plus shipping. Modern Life is War 7-inch on white vinyl. That went for $4.99 plus shipping. Got the Teen Cthulhu Wormwood Split Picture Disc 7-inch, $4.99 plus shipping. Grit Teeth Let It Be LP, $19.99 plus shipping. This is just a fun record. Toy Dolls Dig That Groove Baby LP. I love this record. $29.99. It's not in the best condition, but $29.99 plus shipping. Over on eBay, 2 more e.l.f. gel and powder makeup kits, or eyebrow kits, whatever. Clearance makeup, $4.99 plus shipping. Sold the Ralph Steadman illustrated version of George Orwell's Animal Farm hardcover first edition, $19.99 shipping included. Anna Karenina Blu-ray plus DVD set, $6.99, and a bunch of DVDs. Two Moon Junction, $9.99. Reefer Madness, the original plus the musical that they did a few years ago, $11.99 for those 2. American Pickers Volume 4, $12.99. Runaway Ralph, $14.99. The Gamers, one of the many versions of this DVD out, they all seem to be worth something, $14.99. And The Fall, such a cool movie, $29.99. Also sold Dark Star on DVD for $7.99. Winchester 73, $6.99. Kings of the Sun, $8.99. And Peter Jackson's Meet the Feebles. Whew. Yeah, this is the guy that made Lord of the Rings movies. $18.99 for that one. Rustler's Rhapsody, $7.99. Free Jack, $7.99. Bubba Hotep, $8.99. Babylon 5, The Lost Tales, $9.99. Audition, Director's Cut, $9.99. Metropolis, $9.99. Hitman, David Foster and Friends, Sealed, $12.99. Madam Butterfly, $12.99. Mel Brooks, two of them together, History of the World Part 1 and Blazing Saddles, $14.99. Yeah, this one, sort of a jackass thing, $14.99. And Lake Placid, $14.99. Pretty sure this one's sold today. It's been up for months and months, but it had Betty White prominently in bold text in the title. We miss you, Betty. All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna be listing items, hitting my death pile hard, and shipping out a bunch of stuff, and hopefully I'll be back soon with a $1 new car challenge video. I'm almost back up in sales on that one to where I can go out and actually do another run of buying. I found this the other day. I don't think I've shown this on the channel yet. I got this in a thrift store for, I don't know, what did I pay for this? $4.99, $3.99, something. It's a big plush 1999 Nintendo Pikachu. I think it says 1999. These can go for over $100. This one, I need to clean it up a little bit. It's got like a scratch on the eye. I don't think it's going to go for $100, but I think it's going to bring back 10 times my money or more. Be on the lookout for Pikachus. All right, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. I'm just standing still.